hey, that's why we love bass fishing right there. The heart starts pumping, can't even hardly talk. Your throat feels heavy. That adrenaline is running through you. Alright, here's the deal. I did not know if I was ever going to talk about this story or post this story on YouTube, but I'm going to. I mean, to my knowledge, this is the biggest bag that's ever been caught on Conroe, so I'd like to share a little bit of information with y'all. You know, maybe if y'all could go out and do the same thing, just don't go to the same spot that I'm at. I mean, if you know the spot, you know the spot. The only way you're going to know it is by how I describe it, and I'm going to overlay some video clips from that day. It was before I had my chesty and before I had the camera, a big camera. So it's just going to be my phone right here mounted on the dash. The background is going to be blurred, or there's going to be something up to where you cannot see the background. If you fish Lake Conroe, you know there's houses pretty much all the way around it. So if I show the background and I show a house, it's very easy to go find that exact spot, because you have something that's never going to move. There's a house sitting there. So if I do show the video clips, all that's going to be blurred to where you're not going to be able to see the background, or there's going to be something there to where you cannot see the background. I will describe the spot. I mean, like I said, if you know the spot, then you know the spot. So on this particular spot, it's a big rounded point, and there's brush piles on this point. I mean, there's brush piles on every point on Conroe, but on this spot there's about 4 or 5 brush piles, and right off of those brush piles there's a hard spot. I don't know if it's a shell bed or if it's just some gravel down there on the bottom. I've fished this hard spot mainly. I don't really even fish those brush piles. Those brush piles is what gets all the attention. 9 times out of 10, anytime I see anybody, you know, driving by or anything like that sitting on this spot, they're sitting on those brush piles. They're fishing those brush piles. They're not fishing this hard spot. So this hard spot, I've already caught around a 7-pounder off of this hard spot previously. Not even, you know, last year I caught a good fish off this hard spot. So I know the good fish will get on it. And I think the reason why they do like to get on it is because the brush piles that are right beside it is what gets all the fish pressure. So the story starts the day before. Me and my brother are out on the lake and we're fishing, and he's got to leave to go meet a guy. Well, I want to go check this hard spot before we leave. We roll up, I drop the trolling motor in the water, and as soon as I do, I pan over it with my live scope, and I see there's some big fish roaming around. And I tell him, I was like, man, just let me make 3 or 4 casts. Let me make 3 or 4 casts on the spot. There's some big fish on it. He's like, all right. He's sitting back there waiting for us to roll out so he can go meet this guy. I fire out there with 10XD, sexy shad, and I'm throwing that 10XD up into about 10 foot of water. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to be able to determine where that crankbait's going to hit the bottom. If I want it to hit the bottom up there in 10 foot, I'm casting, you know, if those fish are sitting at 80 foot, I'm casting to 95, 100 foot. That way I know that crankbait is, as soon as it hits the bottom, it's already in the fish. So I fire it out there and I catch a 5.5. All right, at this point, he's up. He's not sitting down anymore. He's grabbing his crankbait rod and he's firing out there. We make, I don't know, 5 or 6 more casts. He catches a 5-pounder, and about that time, his phone goes off. The guy says he's about 15 minutes away from his house, so we got to go. As we get to the truck to load the boat up, my brother is, man, dude, if we could have stayed, we could have caught some big ones. We could have caught 25 pounds if we would have stayed. And I looked at him and I said, well, I'm going to be back out here tomorrow. He's a fireman. He was going to be at the station. He couldn't make it. He wasn't happy about that. He had a few choice words to say. But hey, it is what it is. I got to go, man. If I see fish like that, you best believe I'm going to be there the next day. So fast forward to the next day. I roll up on this spot and drop trolling motor in the water, pan over there to him, and oh my gosh, the fish grew from the day before. The returns that I was getting were way bigger. So what I realized is these fish were up there chasing gizzard shad. I would see, you know, a group of 3 or 4, 5 gizzard shad come through, and then following those gizzard shad would be a group of giant bass. And I'd sit on this spot and I'd just wait. They'd make loops. It'd be about every 5 minutes they'd make a loop. And as soon as I'd find them, I'd catch them, I'd cast that 10XD out there, crank it down there to them. First one right off the bat, boom, 7 pounds, 3 ounces. All right, this is a lot bigger than yesterday. Let's go. Posted on my Instagram, on my story, and my brother messaged me. Are you back on that spot? Yep, I'm back on that spot. Oh, dang. Set the phone down, let the fish go, and fire out there again. Next fish. 7 pounds. Let's get my phone here with my picture of my scale. That way I can tell y'all the order. 7 pounds, 6 ounces. Next fish. Of course, you know, put it on my Instagram. My Instagram's gonna be right over here somewhere. If y'all ain't following, go follow it, because I post a lot more to my Instagram story than I do anywhere else. But next fish, 7 pounds, 6 ounces. All right, the blood's flowing, the heart's pumping. Could this possibly be the day that I bust a dirty 30 on Conroe? I have busted a dirty 30 a couple times, best 5 bag, but never on Conroe. So I let her go. Of course, I put it to my story, let her go. My phone starts blowing up. Boom, boom, boom. People sending me messages. Hold on, my wife's calling. Hello?
Alright, you got it.
Alright, I love you.
I love you too.
Alright, bye. Alright. Where was I at? Okay, so I release the 7 pound, 6 ounce fish. And, you know, the thoughts of having a 30 pound bag are going through my mind. And my phone's starting to blow up. And I'm firing out there. They kind of slow back. They're not coming through as often as they were. So I'm sitting there and I'm making my cast, and then I see another group off to the left. I can definitely tell that it's a little bit smaller fish that are in this group. I fire out there to them, and boom, hook up. It's a 6 pound, 6 ounce fish. And get her in the boat. Again, I'm hyped. It's going down. My brother calls me. Are you seriously on that spot? Yeah, I am. I wasn't just gonna leave them. I'm here on this spot, and let me tell you, I'm about to drop a mega bag. And he was happy for me. Don't get me wrong. He was happy for me. He was just disappointed that he couldn't be out there too, and I was disappointed too. I mean, I think his personal best right now is 6.5 pounds. So I was disappointed that he wouldn't be able to. He wasn't able to be out there with me. But it was just funny. It was funny how it all went down. And so I talked to him for a minute or two, and I get back at it, and I fire out there again. And the next fish, 8 pounds, 9 ounces. And I'm shook. I am beyond myself. I cannot believe what is going on right now. I've fished Conroe for years, and I've never came across anything like this. I released that fish, of course, Instagram and all that gets put on Instagram. So if y'all don't follow me, y'all go follow me on Instagram. And I fire out there again, and I cannot get these fish to bite anymore. Alright, so I'm just gonna leave. I'm not gonna lose sight of this spot. I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna go across the lake to this other point. I'm gonna fish it for a little while, give this spot a break. So I leave, I go over there, I'm sitting over there, I fish it for a little while. I said, you know what, I think I'm gonna go back to that spot, and I'm just gonna slow it down. I'm gonna pick up a jig, I'm just gonna slowly drag it through there. And I go back over there, and I do exactly that. I pick up the jig, fire it out there, black and blue, football head jig, fire it out there, 7 or 8 times, no bites. I can see there is a few big fish sitting on this hard spot that I was talking about. And dragging it through them, nothing. Fire it out there, and I'm at this point, I'm like, you know what? I can leave this spot and go fish some of my other spots and probably go out there and catch me, you know, another 5-pounder or something like that. Get my 5, you know, and just already have a mega bag, best 5 on Conroe. Definitely the biggest bag I would have ever caught anyway at this point. But I just wanted a few more casts. So I'm probably like 2 casts away from leaving. Fire out there again, and at this point I see a big fish, but she's not very far in front of the boat. I make sure to keep it all the way up to that point. 9 times out of 10, once it's close enough to where I'm dragging and I can feel it's lifting that jig off the bottom, I just go on ahead and reel it up. This particular time, since I could see that fish sitting there, I did not. I kept the rod tip down, and it was short drags to make sure that I was not pulling that jig off the bottom. She locked up. She grabbed it and set the hook. I didn't realize she was as big as she was until she surfaced right in front of the boat. And I have a video of it. I'll play it right here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's a giant. Stay down. Stay down. Oh no, I have her hooked in the corner of the mouth. And that fish was smart. She ran me to the back of the boat. She was zigzagging behind the motor. She actually came up right up next to the boat and dove down. She knew what she was doing. She was trying to get me tangled up in that motor. That's what she was doing. She was a smart fish. Finally got her over to the side of the boat, got her in the net, and let me tell you, I barely had that fish skin hooked in the corner of the mouth. And got her in the boat, put her in the live well, calmed down. I'll put a video right here of me talking right after I caught that fish. Had to sit down for a second. Man, I had to switch it up. Went to a jig, started dragging a jig, and I got a big one. I mean, it's got to be over 8. I don't know if my eyes are just deceiving me. I mean, but I think it's closer to 9 something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just excited. But I'll have a wait for y'all here on the next clip. So as you can see, I was pretty shook up. Hey, that's why we love bass fishing right there. The heart starts pumping, can't even hardly talk. Your throat feels heavy. That adrenaline is running through you. I love it. That's the whole reason why I bass fish. But it was a crazy day of fishing. By far the best day of fishing I've ever had when it comes to, you know, 5 biggest fish. I hope maybe this could give y'all some ideas. Just because you have a 10XD, that doesn't mean you have to throw it in 20+ foot of water. You know, if your target fish is shallower than what this runs, you just adjust your cast to that. So if, like I said, on this day, those fish were about 80 foot away from me and 10 foot of water. I know, right, if I cast this 15, 20 foot behind that, so if I cast this to 100, this is going to be hitting the bottom at 80 foot perfectly, diving right down there in them. And let me tell you, it would hit the bottom for half of a second, and that's when they would eat it. I was throwing it on the Kistler Curios 7'3" medium heavy with a 7:3 to 1 gear ratio reel. That's what did all the damage. The football jig, I was throwing it on a different rod. The Argon series hadn't come out yet from Kistler that whenever I was fishing that day. But this is my jig rod. It's the 7'3" heavy Kistler Argon series with a 7'3 to 1 Curios reel. Awesome rod and reels. Y'all go check them out. But what a day on Lake Conroe. I will probably never top it again. I don't like saying that I'm not going to be able to top something, but let me tell you, it's going to take a special day for me to be able to beat that. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Just me telling the story of the 38 pounds 14 ounce bag that I caught on Lake Conroe. I appreciate y'all watching. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get better with uploading to YouTube. I just want to fish for a living. That's what I want to do. Not necessarily tournament fish. I will be fishing tournaments next year, but I just want to be bass fishing for a living. And one of the best ways to do that is through making content on YouTube or on Instagram. I'm trying to get better at it, and y'all please follow along. I plan to do some giveaways here pretty soon to the people that have come on board and supported me from the jump. I know my videos are not the best right now. I'm trying to learn. I'm not up with the days when it comes to technology stuff at all. I didn't have an Instagram up until about a year ago, and I didn't even start posting on my Instagram until, I don't know, 6 months ago. So we're early on. We're trying to move. We're trying to gain subscribers, followers. So if y'all don't mind, please go over to my Instagram, give me a follow, and please subscribe to YouTube. I appreciate it, and we will catch y'all on the next video. See ya.